Today we're getting an update on the Office Reef Shallow Lagoon build. What's going on, guys? Devin from ReefDudes. So I've been making some good progress on the shallow reef tank. So this won't fit through the door. So close, so we gotta take off the trim. And it should just fit. Hi, Jess. That was a super tight fit. Had to pop this trim piece off to get it in. So we'll get that guy pushed back in. But at the end of the day, we made it. Finally got it into the office. It's looking awesome. I think I might actually just leave this an open stand. I actually really kind of like how that kind of frames it. You know, do a nice display setup. I think it's gonna look awesome. So the only thing really left is make sure everything is level. This is a brand new DD Jumpguard that I got, so I'm excited to get this baby built. So we're gonna work on that today. Got to keep your fish safe. We got our nice new bulkheads, new plumbing, and I'm just waiting for the sump before I plumb that. So that will be coming soon. I picked up some blue pipe from BRS, so we're gonna be using this. I'm still kind of half debating if I'm gonna go with the white or the gray fittings on this one. Blue and white kind of matches the stand. The gray looks kind of cool too, because I mean, obviously with the gate valve is gray, that one has to be that color. So I got this guy from Reef Supplies. Ryan's checking it out, he's digging it. With the plug back there, I'm gonna be changing this one to a ground fault. It's always a good idea to use a GFCI anywhere around water. So we will be changing that one. For that, got a couple dosing containers. My sump is in the mail, so super excited for that one. On the bottom, we cut up some wood. So next we gotta make a platform for the tank. So I got this nice lovely chunk of wood, so thank you, Derek. And it's nice and thick. It's super smooth plywood, so this is gonna be my base for the sump. So what I'm doing is just kind of marking out approximately where the posts are and all the corners. And then we are going to have to come back. We're gonna jigsaw these notches out until we get it to perfectly sit on the bottom. And that's gonna be our platform for the sump. So once you get this cut out, fit perfectly, I'll paint it white. And yeah, we'll make a nice base and it will be the nice thing. Get our sump, all our equipment on there, and it should look pretty good. Super happy with how the tank's coming together so far. If we take a look, remember last week we had that lovely center brace, so my buddy Warren definitely helped me out, so thank you, Warren, if you're watching. We took out that center brace and we also chopped the stand down and lowered the whole stand by 7 inches. So this thing was really high before, and now if I'm sitting at my desk, it's eye level. I get to watch the fish as I'm working, and it's gonna be awesome. And also this was kind of wood colored, so I painted this little chunk of wood under the tank black, so that all blends nicely now. Next big task is going to be doing the plumbing. Now if we come into the tank, I'm kind of planning how I'm going to mount the lights. I had some leftover extruded aluminum from a computer little rig that I had in the past. So I might just use these parts and chop them up and make it fit. These little white papers kind of represent the XR15s and kind of a rough idea of how I do the layout, so I'm trying to evenly space them out. And then probably somehow attach them to this metal bar. And that should do kind of a pretty good look on the tank. Now the next project for today is going to be building a screen top. So I am stoked because I just picked up a D&D Jumpguard. Now this is the same top I'm using on my current shallow reef, and it's been super sleek. Absolutely love the top. Now this one, check this out, Pro version. So apparently the Pro version actually has black mesh, which I'm excited for because I love the top, super low profile. However, I always kind of want it black because the clear mesh reflects light a bit, so the Pro should be even better. So let's get to building this top for the tank. Now it comes in this little tube. Everything's held in with some staples, so I'm just gonna pop out the staples. Oh, black mesh. Look at that. So we have our spline roller. We have our spline. We have all our bars. We have our corners, which I absolutely love these because these are some of the magic that helps us sit inside of the tank. And we got some various other connectors if you want to do center braces or other supports, little tabs to lift it up. You got lots of little pieces to work with. We got 2 potential center braces, 3 chunks that looks like they could be for the shorter side, and 2 longer edges. So let's go kind of test fit this to the tank and we'll figure out where exactly we got to make our cuts. Now by putting the one kind of corner in, I can just set the other one just inside the rim, and Then put my bar against it and I can basically see right exactly where I need to cut. So I can make a little mark and then we'll take that out and cut it on the saw. I'm gonna be cutting these guys on the table saw. Most of you will probably just be using a hacksaw for it. I know my cuts aren't always the straightest, so at least on the table saw I know I'll get a nice perfect cut. Another thing to note, if you do use a table saw, make sure you use a proper blade, or a miter saw rather. This is a non-ferrous metal blade, and it's actually made for cutting soft metals like aluminum, which is what this is made out of. Make sure the outside's facing the right way. And we insert our corners. Now there is a bit of a plastic coating on here. I like to leave that to the very end, just to make sure if you do any more cuts, it prevents any scratches. So our main frame is done. Now the next important thing is to test fit it and make sure it actually fits your tank. And the moment of truth. Beautiful. There's a little bit of wiggle room, otherwise it fits perfectly. Now look how flush this top sits. This is why I absolutely love this top. Out of all the mesh tops I've seen and used, this one's by far my favorite. And it really is because it is so low profile. You have a couple mils above it and the rest just sits right inside. So with the black mesh, I think it's gonna be very stealthy. Now for the fun part, installing the mesh. Now this is probably the trickiest part of the whole install, and this goes for about any screen top, is getting your mesh nice and square and taut on all edges. So generally just pick a corner to start in and leave a little bit of overhang on the sides. So I generally like to try and stretch as I go just to keep the mesh fairly taut. At least me personally, if there's any little sags in it, something that would bug me, so I want to keep this tight as I can as I go. And the only thing is if you pull it too tight, you just got to watch that it doesn't skew your frame as you start going around it. Now one kind of trick that I'm doing is have my knees on top of the mesh to kind of help me spread it out. And then I'm kind of pushing the frame through the mesh just to keep it nice and taut. All right, same kind of strategy here, using my fingers to kind of pull the mesh in the metal kind of taut. And as you push the spline kind of tool in, you'll see it suck the mesh into the hole and kind of straighten out a lot of those sags. So I just made sure I had a nice fresh blade on it. And I'm gonna put my blade just along the edge of the spline in the hole and run it across, and we'll cut all these little strips of wire off. Give it one last round with the roller, just make sure everything's in there nice and tight. Beautiful. That looks good. The best part is it's not gonna reflect all that light. Looking down into it, it's not overly really noticeable. My biggest complaint kind of with the clear top was that over time, you see the reflection of the light. Or this one, I honestly think it's gonna just blend in. And look how sleek that is. This is by far the thinnest, nicest top I've seen. I've done mainly DIY ones and I've seen a few other brands, but look at that, sleek. That is a sexy top, my friends. D&D. Thumbs up to you guys. Love this thing. So super cool, super sleek little top. My next little project's gonna be to figure out how to do this light bar. So since I'm moving all my stuff from the Shallow Reef tank in here, I'm gonna reuse for my extra 15, so I'm gonna just a kind of a grid pattern and use that extruded aluminum. It's slowly but surely coming along. Cannot wait to get this finished. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the build so far. Hopefully you're learning something. If you are, as always, hit that thumbs up button. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next update.